Come on, get him, get him. We need to push now, push, push. Come on! That was a champion's drive.
When the checkered flag falls in Brazil, only one man will be crowned champion. Winter testing is the first chance for the teams to put theory into practice. Spain's temperate climate provides the perfect setting for testing in the quest for the perfect car.
Oh, you mean you can improve a lot?
Well, that is the plan, yeah.
The test day is quite tough. I would say it's even tougher than the race weekend. Just up very early in the morning with a briefing at 8 o'clock, and then basically from 9 till 5 o'clock you're on the track, you're in the car, trying different things on the setup, on the car, getting the car reliable. You do about, if you have a good day, about 100 laps. That's 1.5 race distance. And it's quite tough, but it's very, very important for the team and for the driver as well after the winter break.
The beginning of the year is no holiday for the teams. There's plenty of work and analysis to be done, and there's always room for improvement. So, what is the feeling in the paddock as Bahrain approaches?
We will be... I'm miles away mentally. Forget it. I tell you what, just use Martin. Forget me.
Just fun, I feel. And I feel like I have a good car to have a lot of fun this year.
We know how to win championships, and if the car is competitive like it seems to be, we can do it again this year, I believe.
Testing is over, and it's time to get racing. Who's got it right over the winter and found the perfect combination of speed and reliability? Renault hope to retain their championship-winning form with Fernando Alonso and Giancarlo Fisichella. McLaren have to put the trials of last year behind them with the solid pairing of Kimi Raikkonen and Juan Pablo Montoya. Brazilian Felipe Massa joins 7-time world champion Michael Schumacher at Ferrari. Toyota seek that elusive first win with Ralf Schumacher and Jarno Trulli. Nico Rosberg steps up from GP2 to join Mark Webber at Williams. Honda keep hold of Jenson Button, who's joined by former Ferrari man Rubens Barrichello. David Coulthard heads Red Bull's charge and is partnered by Christian Klien. BMW form a new alliance with Sauber and have high expectations of Jacques Villeneuve and Nick Heidfeld. Midland take over where Jordan left off with Thiago Montero and Christian Albers. Minardi are no more, but the Italian spirit remains with Scuderia Toro Rosso, with Antonio Liuzzi's joined by American Scott Speed. Super Aguri are the newest team on the grid. Their all-Japanese lineup features Takuma Sato and Yuji Ide. 2006 kicks off at the Sakhir circuit in Bahrain. The season begins with rookie drivers taking on the status quo, and there are new rules to contend with. Pit stops feature tyre changes once more. V8 engines replace V10s, and there's a brand new knockout format for qualifying. The 1-hour session is split into 3 periods. Drivers must set competitive times in all 3 to get the best places on the grid. But the new season did not bring a change in fortunes for Kimi Raikkonen. His car didn't survive Friday's second session thanks to a suspected electrical problem. It's not a good start to his fight back. He didn't complete his programme and will have to wait until Saturday to see where he stands compared to the competition. Things went from bad to worse in qualifying. A rear wing failure ruined his chances and forced him to limp back to the pit lane on 3 wheels without having set a fast time. He will start 22nd. The session was stopped temporarily, but there were a lot of people who had yet to set a fast lap. This year, it's essential to find clear track ahead. Being stuck in traffic will only hinder a driver. As Ralf Schumacher found out. He got the timing wrong thanks to the red flag and found himself at the back of the pack. Nico Rosberg got his timing right, but keen to impress on his debut, he overstepped the mark. But none of the new boys could beat 7 times world champion Michael Schumacher. Eager to find the form that seemed to be lacking in 2005, the Ferrari star starts the new season on pole position.
Hello, I'm Michael Schumacher and I'm going to show you around the Bahrain qualifying lap. And that was pole position.
So, Michael's on pole with teammate Massa next to him, but Alonso lurks behind. It's going to be an all-action start to the season in Bahrain.
Give me some warning, please, okay? You should have some warning because you'll see about 21 cars go past the end of the pit lane.
Midland state the obvious, while the rest of the field get a move on. Massa ensures Alonso can't get near Michael. Raikkonen makes up several places from the back, but Nick Heidfeldt's got into a spin. Alonso finds his feet and takes advantage of Massa. While Liuzzi makes life difficult for Villeneuve. Michael leads, but Alonso's gaining, and Massa's giving it his best. Button's clutch problem at the start puts him into combat with new teammate Barrichello. One to Button. Or is it? Honda's game of cat and mouse is still going on. And Christian Klein passes the Renault of Giancarlo Fisichella. Jacques Villeneuve cuts it fine ahead of Liuzzi. But Massa is just a knife edge from disaster. Alonso had a lucky escape. Now Massa has his work cut out. Fisichella is down on horsepower and he's an easy target for Mark Webber. Juan Pablo Montoya poses little threat to Button. At the front, it's still the clash of the titans, and Alonso is closing. Renault tried to help Fisichella.
Okay, I'm going to give you about 0.3, 0.2% more front wing, mate. I know it's really difficult. You did a great job. Just keep it going, keep pushing hard. We can still get some points.
But Flavio looks unconvinced. And rightly so, the Renault slows to a halt to retire from round 1 of the championship.
You've lost hydraulics, Giancarlo.
Just after the start, I lost again the power as yesterday. Then I retired myself because there was a problem with even with the hydraulics, maybe because of the engine problem. Starting the season like that is not great.
No such worries for Ferrari at the moment. while the Flying Finn has clawed his way from the back of the grid into the final podium position. Button's on another charge and puts the same move on Montoya to take fourth. Despite some teething problems, the car looks to have pace. Raikkonen pits for the one and only time this race. McLaren may have had problems, but the strategy has been excellent. Raikkonen's out, but Villeneuve is out of the race. And lets everyone know about it. It's not the impact BMW wanted to make on their first appearance as a Formula One team. At the front, it's still Renault versus Ferrari, but Alonso is stuck behind Massa. Michael has pitted and Fernando has upped his pace. Now he takes to the pit lane and leaves it in the hands of his mechanics. Michael is on the pit straight. Ross Brawn doesn't look confident. Who'll have the upper hand? It's so close. They're side by side. Alonso has the inside line. Michael has to yield. Nico Rosberg wants to step out of his father's shadow and takes 8th from one of F1's senior statesmen, David Coulthard. But Red Bull aren't interested in Rosberg's ambitions, especially now that Klian's 7th place is under attack. Not bad for a new boy. Two laps remain and the reigning champion leads the Formula One. The season gets underway with a duel from the start. The tension is unbelievable. Last lap and Michael is closing the gap. Will he go for it? Can he get near enough? Not this time. Like Imola 2005, Michael hounded Fernando right to the end, but Alonso was in control. He opens his championship tally with the maximum 10 points. Renault start the season where they left off the last, but this time Ferrari are a lot closer.
I was taking away 1 lap of fuel because I did 1 lap above the 110% for traffic reason. 1 lap more today in the right moment would have been enough, but you know the typical saying, it doesn't really matter afterwards. It's what it is. We are happy with it and we look forward.
I think we are very close. I think it's dominated from the tires. I think the first 10 laps of the tires, the Michelin, are better, so I was quicker than Michael. And the last 5 or 6, Michael was quicker than me before the pit stop, so it's difficult to judge who is quicker now.
First to the checkered flag today was Fernando, but Schumacher and Raikkonen are keen to do battle. Jenson Button makes a promising start. Williams get both cars in the points, while Klian beats his teammate. ...2006 kicks off with 3 different teams on the podium. But who can maintain the momentum throughout the year? Alonso makes the best possible start to the defence of his title. Can Michael take an 8th? And can Raikkonen do anything to stop them? Sultry Malaysia hosts round 2 of the championship. Pit stops can win and lose races. That's why the teams spend a lot of time planning and practicing for every eventuality. How many people are involved in refuelling and changing tyres?
There's a lot of people in the pit stop. We have 3 guys per tyre, plus front and a rear jackman, 3 guys around the fuel hole. That's a lot of people, and really we can change tyres much quicker than we can fuel the car.
But it's not just about getting fuel in and the new tyres on the car.
The strategy is very much a team effort. We have some very clever people back at the factory and a dedicated strategy engineer working with us throughout the race. We do a lot of mathematical simulations before the race, taking into account everybody's race pace and what we think people are going to do and so on and so forth. But during the race, the final decision rests with the race engineers, who are the guys on the radios with the 2 drivers.
It sounds straightforward, but what about when the unexpected happens?
I think you have to react fast. So we try to structure plans for every eventuality that we can anticipate.
Okay, ready? Go!
Alistair Gibson is Honda's race team chief mechanic, and he's the man in charge of the lollipop during pit stops.
No real pit stop is average and daily. Basically, it's my job to get all the people ready in the pit lane when the car's coming down for its tyre change and fuel top-up. Okay, let's try 3 seconds of fuel again. No, let's try 5 seconds of fuel. 5, please. Basically, guide the car in, run to the front of the car, ensure all the jobs are done, and at the correct time when the fuel nozzle is disconnected and the pit lane is clear, to lift the lollipop.
That's a lot of responsibility for one person.
I do get a bit of help. I get the team manager yelling traffic, traffic, traffic in my ear, which basically it just helps me know what's in the pit lane. But at the end of the day, it is my responsibility not to send him into the fast lane in a lot of traffic.
But what about in Bahrain?
A scenario happened on Jensen's second stop when he left the pit lane on the Toyota was on his outside. Both cars went down the pit lane together. I saw Jarno coming down and I thought, well, I'm not going to keep him because the pit lane is very wide, and they both went down together and Jensen was on the inside and managed to get the place in the corner. Normally, you know when you're racing other teams, if it's going to be close with another car, and you can usually preempt the other car coming down the pit lane.
It's not all fun and games. The pit lane is a very dangerous place to be. Accidents can happen. Have there been any close calls?
Magny-Cours 2 years ago was very close with the Renault. I was just in the wrong place and I sort of had to dive away a bit. I'd rather be where I am in the pit stop. At least I'm on my feet and I can see what's happening. The car's coming in at 100 kilometers an hour. It's a lot more difficult to move when you're on your knees. I'm on my feet, I can see what's going on. I'd rather be standing up.
Massa opted out of Q2 following an engine change. He was joined by Ralf Schumacher, who suffered an engine failure. But it was a fuel rig problem that seriously hindered Alonso's final onslaught. Without the optimum fuel load, the Spaniard could only manage 8th. The promise shown in Bahrain continued for Williams. Nico Rosberg lines up 3rd in only his 2nd Grand Prix. Following Alonso's problems, it was left up to Fisichella to show what Renault could do and take pole position. Race day arrives with several changes to the grid thanks to engine changes. Jock Clear warns Barrichello to keep an eye on the cars around him at the back. There's a few big names joining him there. Massa's 21st ahead of Ralf Schumacher. Williams have a lot to smile about with both cars on the second row, and it's Nico Rosberg that lines up ahead of his teammate. But they will have to get in front of Jenson Button and Giancarlo Fisichella. The temperature's rising. The mixed-up grid means there's lots of drivers with something to prove. It's all down to the start. Rosberg tries to push Webber out of the equation, but Mark is not about to yield. Alonso makes a cracking start from 7th after the fuel mishap on Saturday. He's already up to 3rd, to the delight of his team. Fisichella leads Button and Fernando. Kimi Räikkönen is pulling out all the stops. But there's contact. And Kimi careers into the gravel. It's only lap 1 and already the race is over for some.
They were fighting against each other, Montoya and Kimi, I think. And I saw the opportunity, went to the inside, went up with the car over the curbs, and then Kimi came also to the inside, and we touched. I broke my front suspension, and basically that was it.
I think so. Was clean, hit me on the rear tire, and I broke my rear suspension.
Smiles have turned to frowns at Williams. Both cars dropped back at the start, and now Heidfeld watches their hopes evaporate into smoke. Rosberg had been gaining lost places, but 2 hot races proved too much for the Cosworth engine. Michael Schumacher has been having a quiet afternoon after his engine change, and now faces his old adversary, Jacques Villeneuve. It's a clean move, and Michael takes 8th. The former world champion is on the move again. Trulli is the target. Williams couldn't resolve the hydraulics problem in the pits, leaving 4th-placed Webber in trouble when it could have been so very different. That's both cars on the sidelines after a second-row start. Sato started the race 17th thanks to the misfortune of others, but Liuzzi is on the prowl. Sato comes right back at him. The battle doesn't stop there. Liuzzi keeps on at him. There's not enough room until Sato makes a mistake. Now the Toro Rosso storms past. Ferrari puts Massa on a heavy fuel load on Saturday. This is his one and only pit stop from 4th. Can he maximise the strategy? The Honda mechanics get right up close to the action. Their man is sandwiched between the 2 Renaults. Button scored his first podium finish at this circuit in 2004. Now he's aiming for the top step. But he'll have to keep an eye on this man. Barrichello was on course to score some points, but a 10-second stop-go penalty for speeding in the pit lane puts paid to that. Teammate Jenson Button needs to put his foot down. He's gunning for the win, but traffic after his pit stop could lose him 2nd place at this rate. Now Alonso's in for his 2nd stop. The team built their strategy around the error on Saturday, and it's certainly paying off so far. Fernando gets out ahead of Button. They're on course for a Renault 1-2. Michael Schumacher started 14th and makes his 2nd pit stop. He really hasn't featured in this race. Can he change all that with fresh tyres? He rejoins behind his one-stopping teammate Felipe Massa and starts piling on the pressure. But Heidfeld's engine is under too much pressure. It disintegrates in plumes of smoke at the side of the track. A major disappointment at his 100th Grand Prix. Nice try, but Heidfeld's cunning smokescreen doesn't put Montero off. Liuzzi's having a busy afternoon. Now the Midland of Christian Albers is at risk. He keeps to the right into turn 1. And 11th is his. Flavio keeps his cool and holds out for the checkered flag. Fisichella takes the final corner. And the third win of his career. With teammate Alonso under 5 seconds behind. It's the first 1-2 for Renault since they returned to the sport as a works manufacturer in 2002.
Yes, mate! Well done, well done, well done! Fantastico, Gian. Fantastico. Bravo, 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 bravo.
It's one of the toughest races on the calendar, and Giancarlo Fisichella is the proud winner in Malaysia. Montoya finished 4th. Massa scored his first points for Ferrari. Button took his 12th consecutive points finish, and Villeneuve opens the scoreboard for BMW as a manufacturer team. Maximum points for Renault means they have a good lead in the Constructors' Championship. But it has been a tough time for Fisichella.
Yeah, emotional weekend for me. It was important for me to do my best because I lost a friend of mine 1 week ago, and I like to dedicate that race to him. Ciao, Pietro.
Fisichella puts his win into perspective and acknowledges all those who helped him get there. The city of Melbourne plays host to round 3 of the Formula 1 World Championship. Australian driver Mark Webber proves very popular with his fans. Formula 1 has a large following here, and there's plenty of opportunity for everyone to get close to their favourite F1 stars.
Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, good luck. Thanks, Jensen.
Hi, I'm Jensen Button, and you're going to go around a lap of the Melbourne circuit in Australia with me. This is my pole lap in Melbourne, Australia, which is about 4/10 quicker than anyone. Here we come across the start and finish straight, up through the gears. You get up to 7th gear here, down to turn 3, up to 7th gear again, braking hard for this right-hander. It's a little bit snappy on the exit. I pretty much knew when I did the lap that it was going to be up there because the car felt fantastic. We really improved it over the day, and that's what really gives you the excitement when you've improved the car and you've got it really hooked up. And so it was a fantastic feeling, and as you probably noticed by my radio communication with the team. Qualifying is tough for everyone, you know. For us, being on the circuit at the right time is very difficult, getting clear air. But a lot of it is through communication with the team. You know, the engineers are on the pit wall, and it's the busiest time of the weekend for them. The same for the mechanics, you know, they're working non-stop. We're out, we're in, we're out, we're in. It's getting all the timing spot on, so that you get that clear bit of...
Pole sitter Jensen Button leads the field onto the grid. But Montoya has already... He rejoins at the back. Out. Felipe had Klein on his left and Speed on his right. Klein gave him a nudge. The Ferrari hit Rosberg, and it's game over. He's not the only one striking high. Antonio Liuzzi in the Toro Rosso snatches 8th from Schumacher. What's going on with Michael? Button has struggled after the safety car periods. So the mechanics hope a few adjustments at a scheduled stop can help him out. The Ferraris are both clear. Jensen rejoins just ahead of Montoya of the Honda's cold tyres to take 7th. Big disappointment for Webber. After a good qualifying, he fails to finish his home Grand Prix. He had been leading the race thanks to a heavy fuel load until transmission failure puts him out of the race. Montoya is looking ragged in pursuit of his teammate. Michael is pushing hard to catch Button. Errors like that are rarely made by Schumacher. That can mean only one thing: safety car and a very busy pit lane. Montoya isn't impressed at having to queue behind his teammate. But a flat-spotted tyre caused damage and Kimi requires a new front wing. The safety car is coming in and the race is back on. Another restart and another lost position for Jensen Button. From pole to this, where did it all go wrong? There's contact with Montoya. It doesn't affect the Colombian's offensive. Even through wayward backmarkers, he's on the hunt for Ralf Schumacher. He'd taken on the might of Michael Schumacher, but now the safety car is out again. A polite word with their engine customers will ensure backmarkers don't hinder Toyota's chances. Scott Speed has been flying this afternoon. Barrichello gets by. Now he's sparring with Coulthard for 9th. Ralph's being chased by his former teammate. He hit the curb so severely that the engine safety system was activated. Conveniently, it grinds to a halt in front of the pit wall. Coulthard is still hounding Scott Speed. He may race for Red Bull's junior team, but the Toro Rosso's looking rather difficult to beat. Fernando takes it easy, and why not? He's had very little to trouble him this afternoon. He cruises round to take the 10th. The scariest overtake Fissy's ever done, perhaps. But it wins no smiles at Honda. At least Speed comes through the smoke and keeps Coulthard at bay to score his first F1 point.
Yeah, I mean, for sure the most intense experience was the very last corner, because I went inside the second to last corner to make sure nothing happened with David. He couldn't get by. And I come out of the corner, there's a bunch of smoke everywhere. I couldn't see anything. I swear to God, it was like Days of Thunder. And I'm cruising through the last corner, and I lose the rear end. I catch it, get back on the gas, and through the smoke, and then they tell me I'm 8th. So, I mean, it was a crazy finish to a race for sure.
Not as crazy as none for that dancing. Barrichello grappled with his brakes, but did at least pick up some points for Honda. But Scott Speed loses his debut point after receiving a penalty for overtaking Coulthard under waved yellow flags. After 3 races, it's almost full marks for Alonso. Teammate Fisichella is tied with Kimi Räikkönen, while Michael Schumacher is neck and neck with Jensen Button. nosing for McLaren and Ferrari, and there are only 3 teams who have yet to score. After the 3 flyaways, F1 moves to Europe for the San Marino Grand Prix. Toro Rosso announced in February that a 50% stake in the team had been bought by former F1 driver Gerhard Berger. After the season openers, what impact has the popular Austrian had on the team?
Certainly he's done a good job in his career, and he's a valuable asset to the team right now, and he's really pushing, and the progress within the teams you can already see, so it's a very good fit.
I love the Mansell and Senna were my heroes in the past, but Gerhard showed always a really strong performance and pretty consistent for sure. He was a big name and he had a good lifestyle, so it was really cool. This is what I liked of him.
So how does he rate his drivers?
I'm extremely happy with both drivers. Young, that's exactly how I like it. Scott Speed, nice American boy, very competitive. Learning period, of course. We're gonna have a lot of up and downs. And then we have Tonio Luzzi, and he's really a good Italian karting world champion, Formula 3000 European champion. So these 2 guys are very happy in the team, and we are very happy to have them. I think they can do some good, spectacular races this year.
After 14 years in F1, Gerhard knows the demands his drivers face, but what are the favourite memories of his career?
I mean, there's so many moments. If you're a race driver, I did 210 Grand Prix. I mean, nearly every Grand Prix had something special. On the side where it made me very happy, on the side where it made me very sad, on the side where we had a lot of fun. That was, in a racing like I have it, everything you can get for your enjoyment, for your life. It's an unbelievable experience. Unfortunately, not many people on the world get in a situation like I've been to have a chance to experience the life like this. My first film in Mexico, '86, it came very quick. I wasn't expecting to be in the car and already winning my first race. But you're so young, everything goes so quick, and everything you think is so normal, and you don't know if you even have time to celebrate or if you go already to somewhere later. And I remember well at this day, Keke Rosberg came to me and said, Gerhard, have a nice party, be happy today, because this day doesn't come so often. And at this time I didn't know what he means, but today I know what he means. It really doesn't come so often. To win irregular in Formula 1 is a very, very difficult thing. And then I had several wins, and I enjoyed them, but the most I enjoy the wins now, when I remember back how nice it was in Hockenheim, my last win, how nice it was in Monza to win with Ferrari. And in the time when you're active, you have 1,000 other things what is important. Once you're stopped, once you're a while a bit away, suddenly go and see, where's my old overalls, where's my old helmets, where's the cup what I got there. Suddenly you get interested in the history, and then you remember, you look in books, and you are happy about it. So it's you have different phases where you go through, but in the end of the day, that's all things what you got, what normal people are unable to get, and you have to appreciate it very much. The best and the greatest thing you can do inside here is to drive a race car under a limit. Unfortunately, the time is over, but if I could have a wish, I would like to turn back the watch, being 20 years again, and be able to drive a Formula 1 car under limit.
Hello, it's Michael Schumacher again. You have seen already Bahrain pole position lap, and now we're gonna go to Imola, and I show you around there. It's important to get the start of the lap right as you go through the possible, and worked out pretty well. Got another pole position. I was critical about the new qualifying system. I thought it was too complicated, but the show we produce sort of gives more than the complication adds, and in a way people, yes, they have difficulties to understand certain part of the qualifying, but the general is easy to understand and the show is good.
Sunday morning starts with clear blue skies and bright sunshine. The sun was shining on Honda, who had their best combined qualifying of the year, with Button lining up second and teammate Rubens Barrichello just behind in third. But the skies aren't so blue at McLaren. Montoya could only manage 7th ahead of his teammate, who is 8th. Michael starts from a record-breaking 66th pole position, but can he go the distance? It's a good start for Schumacher, but not so for Raikkonen. He's not making any gains. In fact, he's losing places. Kimi tries to retaliate. But Trulli doesn't give up. Now Mark Webber fancies a piece of the action and gets ahead of the McLaren. But there's trouble at the back.
I didn't see it coming, you know, it just started to roll over, and that was it. And I have to say the impact was quite okay, you know, it was not really hard, and you know, we can see how safety Formula 1 is now in this moment.
Christian is unharmed and the racing resumes. Michael leads Button, Massa and Alonso. Trulli joins Albers on the sidelines thanks to a problem with his steering column. It's a huge disappointment for the Italian. Button is in for his second pit stop, but Alistair Gibson makes an error. The fuel nozzle is still connected. The broken nozzle has to be detached from the car in the middle of the pit lane, and the chance of a podium is gone. Michael isn't as quick in these middle stages. Overtaking is not easy in Imola, but Alonso gives it his best shot. There's no way through. Renault opt to bring Fernando in early to give him clear air. But they're not the only ones adapting their strategy. 1 lap later, Michael is in. Is it quick enough? Now, any profit Alonso. Further back, Montoya makes his last stop. Thanks to Button's lollipop shenanigans, he's in with a chance of a podium finish. He's passed Massa to take third. But there's nothing Alonso can do to change the order at the front. The Italian flag is raised. Michael Schumacher takes his 85th Formula 1 win. Raikkonen ended a disappointing weekend 5th, ahead of Webber, who was 6th. Button could only salvage 7th after a troublesome day of pit stops. Michael shows the sort of form not seen since the end of 2004, and he takes the time to thank his team for their hard work. Every one of them. So, where does this leave the championship?
The good thing is that in 4 races, 2 wins, 2 second places is enough.
Well done to Michael Schumacher.
Alonso's championship charge continues, but round 4 is a clear home win for Ferrari. The Nürburgring in Germany plays host to the European Grand Prix. So far, the battle has been between two men, the resurgent Michael Schumacher and Fernando Alonso. Who will succeed at the historic circuit in the Eifel Mountains? Qualifying in 2006 is much more challenging for the drivers. In Q1 and Q2, it is crucial to set a fast time to survive. But equally, a driver must keep out of trouble. Fisichella was struggling to survive Q1. This was his last chance. On his final flying lap, he came across an off-the-pace Villeneuve. And he didn't appreciate it. So he went to make his feelings absolutely clear. The championship challengers kept their battle on track. Michael looked to have pole position in the bag until Alonso went 2/10 quicker to take the top spot. Fisichella lines up 11th behind Villeneuve on the grid. This could get rather interesting. No troubles yet. Alonso leads Michael and Massa into turn 1, but things are starting to go wrong further back. Ralph runs out of space, hits Liuzzi. Liuzzi spins and hits Kufa. Twice. Starting in the midfield has created quite a challenge for Fisichella. He's locked in a wheel-to-wheel battle with the BMW Saubers, and it's Villeneuve in front. And now Heidfeld. Liuzzi's really in trouble. A broken front wing. A puncture. And this spin marks the end of his race. The track will have to be cleared. They're ready for action. Michael tries to push Alonso, but when the racing resumes, Fernando already has a clear lead. Buttons under pressure. Raikkonen steals 4th. While Montoya chases Fisichella. Giancarlo makes it easy and just saves himself an embarrassing exit. But he doesn't give up. There's action throughout the field. Albers makes light work of Sato for 17th. Webber disappears off the track thanks to hydraulics failure after fighting his way up from 19th on the grid. Fisichella still can't get enough of Villeneuve. He's looking for revenge. The change of strategy hasn't helped so far, and Montoya is catching them. Flavio is getting impatient. There's nothing between them, but the Renault hasn't got what it takes. Jenson Button's day is over thanks to a failed engine. He'd struggled with balance throughout the race and now his engine has given up. Christian Klein joins Jenson on the sidelines. While Frank Montagny doesn't make it to the end of his first race for Super Aguri. And things are starting to get heated. It may seem light-hearted at Renault, but Alonso's being challenged by Schumacher. It's the second round of pit stops and Renault move first. Everything goes like clockwork. But Michael Schumacher's been upping the pace. Have Ferrari's master tacticians got it right? Will his long second stint have paid off? The mechanics rushed to see the outcome and get the result they were looking for. But for Ron Dennis, there's a sight for sore eyes. Montoya pulls to the side of the track. Ralph gets a more flamboyant send-off when his engine blows. While one Schumacher runs out of steam, the other keeps going. For Michael Schumacher, it's win number 86, his 5th at the Nürburgring. Ferrari follow on from their San Marino success with Massa's first podium. Barrichello finished a disappointing 5th, but at least Fisichella couldn't threaten him. Is this the outcome the former champion expected?
Yeah, I mean, it's not a surprise that we should expect Renault up to the front. Neither should be a surprise to see us up at front, and the better one will win.
Schumacher throws down the gauntlet for the rest of the season. All that remains is to see who will be the victor in October. The Spanish Grand Prix can only mean one thing. All eyes are on Spain's latest hero, Fernando Alonso of Renault. Since his arrival in F1, the fans and media can't get enough of him.
Okay, I'm Fernando Alonso. We will see the onboard camera in the Barcelona Grand Prix, one lap in Barcelona. Okay, now we start in the straight line, very long straight, 1 kilometer. We arrive at 315 kilometers an hour at the end. We brake in the around 280 kilometers an hour, one of the quickest corners in the championship. This last corner, really important for the time lap. And that's it, really a special track for me.
Formula One is huge in Spain thanks to Fernando Alonso, and King Juan Carlos is one of his biggest supporters. Actor Owen Wilson is the voice of a race car and takes time out to get a feel for real live racing action. It's the Renault front row, but there are no guarantees in this game, and Flavio knows it. It looks good so far, while Kimi Räikkönen is storming through the field. He started 9th and soon eases up to 5th. Even Ron can't hide a smile. Ralph is hounding Trulli. Toyota give their drivers equal footing when it comes to racing each other, but inter-team squabbling is always a worry. With good reason, a small error by Ralph has a big impact on his afternoon. Trulli escapes damage, but Ralph will need a new front wing and he'll lose time en route to the pit lane. Montoya stops on track and Ron's lost his smile.
Normally through there, you're in traction control and you lean on the traction control, and for some reason it just went. And then the engine just stopped as well. That is kind of weird, but I don't know what happened.
The Ferrari mechanics get ready for their number one. Fisichella is pushing hard. The team are furious with the mistake, which is more than can be said for Ralph.
We were quick, we were good in qualifying, but not good enough in the race. We had an electronic failure. I don't know exactly what, obviously, but something electronically.
Fernando hasn't managed to win at his home event, but that's all set to change. Win number 11 of his career, his third of the season. And most importantly, win number 1 at home. Ahead of Michael Schumacher.
Fantastico, fantastico. Thank you to all of you. Thank you. This one will be one to win. Thank you.
There's no doubt who the crowd wanted to win. Renault may not have been optimistic for their chances, but the combined effort paid off with a double podium. He might be number 1 on track, but he still needs those dance classes. Renault and Ferrari dominate the afternoon. Raikkonen couldn't get higher than 5th after his fantastic start, while Button and Barrichello score points for Honda. Alonso hasn't been off the podium this year, but the champagne is nothing compared to the celebrations with the team and his fans. The Principality of Monaco knows a thing or two about celebrating. The most luxurious location on the Formula One circuit is also one of the most challenging for the drivers. Its narrow and winding streets may be unforgiving. Nevertheless, Monaco is many drivers' favourite track.
Hi, I'm Thiago Monteiro, Formula One driver for Milan F1 Racing, and I'm going to take you for a lap on this amazing Monaco track. We're here in the pit straight of Monaco. Quite long pit straight actually for a street track. Very bumpy obviously, with a very late braking. Come down braking maybe at 60 meters, 70 meters, and goes a little bit up, but still very bumpy. But you need to take a lot of minimum speed as well. Now you're arriving at the casino, which is a very, very important and tricky corner. One of the fastest corners actually. Come here on top of this hill, and you have to slow down, but keep a lot of minimum speed again. So completely blind, you don't see anything. Very bumpy, very slippery. 4th gear corner here, and you have to maintain this speed all the way and try to be as inside as you can. But again, very careful with your rear, because you can easily lose it. Just 1 gear shift down, 3rd gear for the right-hander of the casino. Again, bumpy, you take a lot of the inside curb, and this exit, you need to power the car down very early, on the way down to Mirabeau. Very difficult braking because a lot of downhill, as you can see, so it's difficult to get the car stopped. And then you got to come really inside as much as you can, so you keep the grip inside. There's no grip outside at all. power down early again, first gear, up to second gear, and down to first again for the slowest corner of the track, with obviously a lot of locking. If you get it wrong at the beginning, you might not come out of it, so you got to be really, really careful with the way you come out here. Power early again, very important on this track. Second gear, a lot of curb here. You really have to go a lot on the curb. It's bumpy here on the way down. A very famous and important part of the track, the tunnel. It doesn't look like it, but I can tell it's very frightening when you're in it for the first few laps. There's a big change of light, obviously, when you come out, and a lot of vibrations with the bumps. And the braking for this chicane, very light braking, maybe 100 meters, very unstable because you have a little downhill. But again, you need to gain that time, so late braking, very unstable car, and very slow first chicane in first gear. Bumpy curbs here, very bad for your car, very bad for your head actually. Your head bangs on both sides, but you need to go on the curbs. This curb, and again, this curve here has to be used. And another very high-speed portion. You put up fifth gear, and you got to anticipate your corner to really go on this curb and the outside curb. We're talking 200 plus kilometers an hour. Very, 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 very high speed with lots of bumps on the way out. Up to fourth gear for La Rascasse. Tricky braking really, because you're braking and turning at the same time. You always have front locks here all the time. So you again then power very early, lots of understeering, then oversteering here. Still very important to keep the momentum. A little bit up the hill, you stay in first gear, just lift a little bit, not even braking here, and aim for the apex as soon as you can. Very important acceleration, because like I said, it's the straight line, it's a long one, and the time, you know, on all the small corners, you make a lot of difference in time. So here we are, we've just done a lap of this tricky but amazing racetrack of Monaco. Right, you've seen the theory now, so have a look at the reality from my onboard camera on Thursday afternoon.
In Monaco, grid position is everything. What's going on? Michael gestures angrily, but it's too late now. The session is over. And the verdicts are in.
I don't think it's fair. It's not fair at all against the drivers and against all Formula One people.
We know he's got a lot of tricks. But whether this one today was real, we'll probably only find out when he's 70, when he's had a glass of red every now and again.
Having seen the slow motion of the car and its motion as it was going in and in the middle and at the end of Rascasse, I have to believe that he could have avoided leaving the car where it was.
I just think it's cheap for the sport, you know. And somebody who's prepared to do cheap things like that should really consider if he's in the right sport, you know. Maybe he should do something. I think the time has come, he should do something else.
The discussions continue long into the evening between Renault, Ferrari and the FIA. So how does Michael defend what happened in the light of a penalty?
You watch the video and you see that I pushed hard, locked up, started sliding and run out of road, which is the consequence here in Monte Carlo. You have your enemies and you have the people that believe in you, and whoever wants to go one or the other direction, I will not be able to convince them anyway. I mean, that's what they want to think or not think, but I'm there for many, many years, and people should know better who I am and what I am after all these years.
Monaco attracts the biggest names, but it's not just royalty. Sporting legends such as Lance Armstrong and Boris Becker mingle with celebrities such as footballer Samuel Eto'o, actor Kevin Spacey, and Superman himself, Brandon Routh. But all the talk is about Michael Schumacher's parking misdemeanor. He will start from the pit lane after his overnight penalty. The rest of the grid take their positions. The start is crucial on the twisty streets of Monaco. Second. Finally, Michael Schumacher gets to join in the fun, but there's lots of ground to make up. There could be an interesting debrief at Midland later. Montero needs a new front wing after this start line incident. Teammate Albers was deemed responsible and gets a drive-through penalty. Alonso leads, but Webber's about to fall into a McLaren sandwich. That means Fernando must keep Raikkonen at bay. Top drivers battling it out is a thrilling... Raikkonen just can't get close enough. Coulthard hopes Red Bull's theme will bring him superhuman powers. That's a lot of fuel. A one-stop strategy could pay off. He stays ahead of Michael Schumacher, which is a feat in itself. Renault versus McLaren versus Williams. It's Alonso from Raikkonen. Fisichella is livening up proceedings with his assault on Coulthard and disproves the theory that there's no overtaking in Monaco. It was a brave move. There was contact with DC and he was lucky not to overshoot the chicane. He's doing it again. This time he's perfected it at Villeneuve's expense. Unbelievable. No mistakes through La Rascasse. Now Michael Schumacher has Villeneuve in his clutches. And he does it into Saint-Avold. Things look uneasy at Williams. And with good reason. Exhaust failure allowed hot gas to burn through wiring looms on Webber's car. And the team is gutted.
Very, very, very disappointed, of course. Felt like I was on it, felt like we deserved something today, but it looks like something on the electronics or engine or something has let us down. So, as I've always said, there's no rewind button, and you know, all the hard work that we did over the last 4 days here is basically invisible now.
The safety car comes out, but Webber's not the only one who could use a rewind button. Second placed Kimi Raikkonen is out of the race. A small fire extinguishes Kimi's hopes of taking the victory and leaves him a long way from home. And perhaps some breathing space for Alonso.
It's David calls out of David.
But it's not going to be easy, especially now that he's lost drive and is out of the race. He's not the only one in trouble. Trulli was only 5 laps from a third-place finish, but coasts to a halt thanks to hydraulic failure. Montero could need another front wing after he locks his in the back of Montagni's Super Aguri. If he looks closely, race leader Alonso may catch a glimpse of Raikkonen relaxing in the harbour. With the fin out of the running, Alonso's able to look after his tyres and takes it easy to take the checkered flag in Monaco. After qualifying 9th thanks to traffic, Coulthard takes 3rd and his first podium since Japan 2003. Clear knows he came so close, but this time it was just not meant to be. Monaco always throws up an unusual result. Montoya kept out of trouble to take 2nd, Barrichello was 4th, and Michael Schumacher managed to make it up to 5th.
It's fantastic. Obviously been a couple of years, so especially nice to do it here in Monaco. Great to do the first podium for Red Bull Racing. And yeah, that's the fortune you need in this track.
Alonso increases his lead. Raikkonen is now tied with Giancarlo Fisichella for 3rd, with teammate Montoya not far behind. Renault are running away from Ferrari and McLaren. Williams want to overtake BMW Sauber, and only 3 teams haven't scored so far. It's all celebrations at Red Bull, although Christian Horner may well be regretting his words. He promised to jump naked into the harbour if a Red Bull driver finished on the podium. The Energy Station swimming pool proves more welcoming, while a cunningly pinned Superman cape saves his blushes. As F1 moves to Silverstone for round 8 of the championship, it's Fernando Alonso who is really in control. Monaco marked Alonso's 7th podium of the season. The last time he wasn't in the top 3 was in Hungary of 2005. It's going well.
4 wins, 3 second places. It's a fantastic start of the season. Really interesting championship. Ferrari is back in 2006. McLaren is coming slowly, and Renault is still on the top. So I think rules were a little bit down in the start of the season. Little bit surprise for everybody. But you know, I think we found that the Renault is still quick, still competitive. So you know, I'm happy.
2 victories had eluded the reigning champion until this year. How did it feel to finally take the top step of the podium in Spain and Monaco?
Probably the most important wins in my career. One in Spain in front of my supporters, and one in Monaco in the special track for everybody. So I think it's a fantastic feeling winning in those places.
Is that why Michael was so desperate to take pole in Monaco?
What happened to Michael was not any good for the sport or for us, but you know, I think it's a circuit that any racing driver wants to win at least once in his career, and I have in the pocket now, so I will try the second time next year.
One race that Jenson Button would like to win is the British Grand Prix, but qualifying a disastrous 19th will make things a little tricky. However, Alonso didn't share his hardship.
Okay, we are in Silverstone. I'm Fernando Alonso. We will do a lap in circuit. A good overtaking opportunity at the end of this straight. We have a 5th gear corner, right-handed corners, 2nd gear. Very important, the traction, very long corners, and crucial to do a good time lap. Circuits, very technical, very difficult for all the drivers.
It's not just the glamour of Monaco that attracts the celebrities. The historic British Grand Prix brings its fair share of famous faces. Sterling Moss gets to meet McLaren protege Lewis Hamilton. But the current British star will have to work hard from 19th on the grid. Kimi is just behind Fernando and desperate to get his first win of the season. He doesn't get the best start, and neither does his teammate. Montoya needs to make up places from 8th, but a mistake from Villeneuve leaves a hole in his side pod. Alonso leads Raikkonen, but the midfield provides the entertainment. Jenson Button takes on Christian Conway to gain places. Jenson is in combat with Trulli now. But it's all over for some.
I was trying to go around the outside of Ralph in one of the Maggots and Beckett's corners, and it was actually working. I actually got alongside him a bit. But when we went into the right, I think it was such kind of an unexpected place to pass. He didn't quite see me, and we tangled.
Basically, it all started with my very bad start. Poor start. I lost too many positions, got into a mess, into the traffic, and couldn't do anything about it.
He tried to keep the footing, which is fair enough. He was trying to save the car, but unfortunately I was on the inside and he just come directly straight back in my path, so actually nowhere to go.
There's no change at the front, but Montoya is shadowing Barrichello. Not quite. Michael backs off. All the teams can do is watch. But only 9 laps in, and he's out.
Things are looking pretty sweet. I think I could have got past DC in the next couple of laps.
Fisichella pits for the first time, and he wants to get out ahead of Massa. He needs to hang on to 4th. Michael's through. But not Massa. Ferrari are watching Michael's assault on Raikkonen. He needs to get ahead to start hounding Alonso. With another round of pit stops to go, how long can Kimi counter Michael's offensive? Michael is in. He takes on new tyres to maximise his chances. The maths didn't work out at the first pit stop, but can Ferrari do it this time? Kimi pits. Now it's McLaren studying the times. But there's no chance. The brand new tyres paid off, and Michael is long gone. Fisichella gets some encouragement.
You have 8 Ks on him on the straight. Come on, get him, get him. This payback for Suzuka.
The team try hard to fuel his fighting spirit. But Kimi won't hand it to him on a plate. The McLaren has some understeer. The Renault can't get close enough. No one came close to Alonso this afternoon. It's his 3rd consecutive win from pole position. Renault, Ferrari, McLaren and BMW ensure there are no points for anyone else. Rosberg just misses out, and it's a disappointing 12th at DC's home event. Alonso has 74 points out of a possible 80, and he's aiming high for that second championship. Renault last won at Silverstone in 1983, and now on their 200th Grand Prix start, Fernando Alonso takes the top step.